Welcome back to our new exciting series where we'll be interviewing the artist facilitators for the Connecting Culture project. Next up, we have Nazneen Ahmed, a creative writing artist. We hope you enjoy the video. The aim of this video is to get more of an insight into Nazneen, her practice, her role in the project, what the workshops will include, and any advice for young aspiring creatives. So Nazneen, tell us a little bit about yourself.
Hi, Paige. So yes, I'm Nazneen. I'm a writer predominantly, but also a textiles artist. I'm also a historian and an academic. So I work at universities and I do research, but I am mostly a writer. That's what I love to do. And I particularly write for children. So I read a lot of children's literature. That's my favourite stuff to read, especially around the age of 11. So I'm a real Harry Potter nerd. I love Philip Pullman. He's my inspiration in terms of writing, and so I write for that kind of age group, 11 upwards mostly, sometimes a little bit younger, and sometimes for adults. I write poetry as well, and I'm also a mother to a 7-year-old who is also a bookworm like me.
Thank you, Nazneen. So what does creativity mean to you in your life? What drives you to be an artist?
So I do a lot of different creative things, not just the writing, which is kind of the reason I breathe. I love sewing and embroidering. I love to paint and draw. And for creativity, for me, is self-expression. It's a way for me to kind of understand who I am and share that with other people. But it's also a way for me to share what matters to me. So I write about the things that I really care about, and being able to send them out into the world for other people to read, and for people who care about the same things as I do, or people who don't know about those things. That's why it's really important for me, and that's why it's always been really important for me since I was really young. I've always been writing or drawing, and I think that it's that's important for everyone. And creativity can be all kinds of different things, but it's really what matters to you. So I can see that creativity can be in gardening, it can be in cooking, it can be in anything that matters to you, but it is that kind of sense of connection that you get, and the sense that you're doing something that really fulfills you and who you are.
Yeah, I agree. Like, creativity is about expressing yourself. I remember going to one of your workshops actually at the John Hansard Gallery, and I was doing some embroidery, and yeah, it was really good. So yeah, thank you.
I think it has so many different effects, like mental health benefits in terms of focus and enabling us just to kind of get away from our frantic kind of screen-based lives. We can do things with our hands, and we just it's something that's really important for us all in whichever way we want to explore it.
So what is your motivation for being part of the Connecting Culture project?
So I'm really passionate about creativity for young people in particular. I think that there are so many demands on young people now in terms of social media, in terms of the curriculum, that actually the space for creativity and for creative self-expression is sort of becoming smaller and smaller. And any chance that we can kind of really start to kind of bring it back into young people's lives, or also just kind of understand what matters to them in terms of their creative lives, I think is just an amazing opportunity. And just to be able to amplify and understand the challenges young people are experiencing nowadays in terms of accessing creative arts and cultural education and activities. And I'm particularly passionate. So I'm Bangladeshi, and my family are from Bangladesh. I was born in London, but for young people from who are Black or of colour, I think we have we grow up with amazing kind of cultural tradition sometimes, but also, we don't see ourselves in the cultural landscape. We don't often see other professionals making it who look like us and have our stories. So it's really hard to know how to be an arts professional, how to be a writer. For so many years, I just didn't think it was possible for me to write and be a creative writer, because I just didn't think people who looked like me did it. And my family were just like, yeah, well, that's a lovely hobby, but you should kind of try and do something else to pay the bills. And it's just I think there are those kinds of pressures on young people from Black or Asian backgrounds, or who are of colour, that I really want to be able to enable them to think actually creative industries are actually for me too, and I can pursue what I would like to do and what I love to do and what I'm really good at. So that's an additional kind of drive for me to be part of this project, and really to speak with our young people, especially in the inner city, which is so super diverse in Southampton, and really to talk about culture and art with them, which is going to be amazing.
That was very inspirational, Nazneen. So let us know about some of your favourite work. Have you worked on projects with young people in education before? So I know you mentioned about you write for children. Is there anything else that you do?
I work a lot with schools and galleries and museums in the city. So I had a residency at John Hansard Gallery, but also had an amazing year as the writer in residence for Southampton City Libraries, where we did lots of kind of different workshops with young people at different libraries. I did I've recently been working with Unity 101 FM radio station on a competition that was about family stories and where we're from in terms of our stories and our kind of family memories, really, rather than places, so that we're from all the things that our grandparents and our parents went through and their memories, rather than like we're just from one kind of physical place. So that's been really amazing, reading the entries from different schools like Mount Pleasant and Beaverstown, and really inspirational. And last year I published my first kind of story, so it's in this anthology, which is from Puffin, which is a Puffin Book of Big Dreams, and that came out to celebrate Puffin's 80th anniversary. So that was really amazing, because the book's got lots of my favourite authors in. So it's got Michael Rosen, Mallory Blackman, and there's me as well. So I'm really quite proud of that. So I'm writing a novel, so that's a very long process, and it was quite nice to have written something little and have it out in print already.
Wow, that's amazing. I must get that book. I'll put that on my list. So what will your workshops for the children include? Like, what should we expect from you?
I did a couple of workshops with other writers in the city, where we were working with how do you work as a writer in the community, and I kind of jokingly said that my creative practice is actually based around sticky gems, but actually it's really true. I really love kind of stickers and just playfulness. I think a lot of the way in which writing gets taught can make it really boring and make it really stressful. And for me, it's a lot of my practice is about actually bringing the fun back into writing, and and the creativity is in the kind of fun and letting go of the grammar and letting go of all those things and just kind of enjoying it. So my workshops are going to be full of stickers and colouring, and we have some amazing kind of graphics that young people can colour and decorate as they want, that have been designed by local young artists, a couple of whom are who are also connecting culture artists. And so that is that you know, it's going to be really fun and cheerful, and just a really kind of a lovely way to kind of map especially their cultural experiences and their dreams, really. So yeah.
Sounds very fun. So COVID-19 has put some of the in-person workshops on hold. How would you encourage the children and the teachers to stay creative during lockdown? Do you have any tips?
Well, I've got a 7-year-old, and he works on his homeschooling right next to me at the dinner table when we're every single day. And you know, I have realised, you know, it's a lot of screen time. It's a lot of kind of regimented kind of working through worksheets. And so any kind of breaks or chunks of time where things are a bit less structured really help to break up the day. And, you know, I would say you could use your kind of exercise hour in your local area to really explore kind of beauty on a very small scale. So think about the kind of things that, and walk kind of mindfully and look around you and look at things in your real local environment. And we've been doing that, and we've discovered things that, you know, we never have noticed before. Little murals that are around the city that people have put up, and beautiful stained glass doors and things like that, that really made us think, oh, I actually want to go home and kind of do a picture of that. So finding that inspiration really locally, even in your, you know, garden or in your local street, just kind of those moments. And I also think it's really good for everyone to do something creative right now, because we have so little else to do, and we can't really, you know, come together socially or anything like that. But one of the best things to do is do something with your child. If you're a parent, you know, paint together, read together, and that's a kind of moment of you bonding as well, and you also getting away from Zoom and the kind of tyranny of the screen as well. So, you know, enjoy it together. I think that if children see the adults around them enjoying creative activities, especially reading, they are much more likely to do them themselves. So yeah, take this opportunity to just have a bit of time out together.
That's good. Yeah, bonding with your family is important at this time, and like you said, embrace the nature, embrace outside, and you can use outside for inspiration for your art. So that's really good. How important do you think it is that children and young people use their creative voices and express themselves?
Well, you know, I think this is absolutely crucial, and that's why I really do the work I do. That's why I go into schools and, you know, and try to make writing fun, because I do think that, you know, in terms of there are two ways of looking at it, really. There's one way, which is it's really important for us in terms of mental health to be able to have those outlets which are, you know, where we can just be who we are. We can, you know, we can put down our worries. If we're writing, we can use it as a free writing exercises to really just enable the worries to stay on the page and, you know, really get them out. You can, you know, you can be mindful when you're painting or sewing. You can lose yourself in a creative process in a way that, you know, a lot of the things that we do now, our attention is kind of constantly being pulled in so many different directions. So it's really important in terms of kind of our mental health. But also, I think, you know, being in the UK, the creative industries are growing, and they're really going to be a really important space for young people to find jobs. So in terms of a practical reasons that, you know, they are viable places to work, you know, but, you know, you need tenacity, you need to be able to be persistent and, you know, be able to deal with kind of rejection. So all those kinds of elements that kind of also enable you to go into the real world and do whatever you want to do, they're part of the creative process, so that kind of prepares you as well. So I think there are practical levels and there are kind of emotional levels why it's really important for everyone.
I agree. So what advice would you give to young people who would like to establish themselves in the art industry? So maybe like older children, teenagers.
So I'm just going to talk about writing because that's what I know. So if you love writing and you want to see your books published one day, I would say the most important thing to do is to write all the time, like write every day, just a little bit, but every single day, and read. So I think every writer that I know is a huge reader. When they're not writing, they're reading. And reading is where I actually learn my craft. So much of like getting good at, when I'm in schools, a lot of people say, how do we know that this is good? How do we know this our piece of writing is good or not? And actually, that's not the question. The question is just how sticking at it, really. It's about persistence and determination, and about kind of just the discipline of getting it down on the page every day and trying not to think about how good it is, because that can actually get in the way. So thinking about, if you're sitting there and looking at your piece of writing and thinking, I don't know, it sounds really rubbish, then it can actually stop you writing. Whereas if you keep reading other people, it will spark off ideas in your mind. You'll think, oh, my character could be a bit like that, or something in my story could go a bit like that. And writers are always taking things from other writers, even though, we're not supposed to technically do it. But by the time you've transformed it, it becomes yours anyway. So that's my, very much it's kind of like, if you want to be a writer, you have to read and you have to write, and everything else will sort of come along the way if you just stick at those two things. But yeah, that's really my very basic advice, but it's kind of, it works for almost every writer I know, I think.
So reading and writing go hand in hand.
Just love it. Read. If you want to be if you want to write fantasy fiction, read every fantasy fiction book you can get your hands on. Just understand how they do it. The bad ones will teach you as much as the good ones, because you'll be like, oh, this book's really slow. Why is that happening? Why is it so slow? And you'll understand that certain things have gone wrong in the way that story's been told. So the story will kind of lead you and show you how to write. So I think it is, it's you can do courses, you can do MAs and everything, but you can also read and learn through reading.
Okay, thank you, Nazneen. So the last question, is there anything else you would like to add about your role in the Connection Culture project?
I think it's going to be a really amazing project, because we've got so many different artists with different disciplines and different backgrounds coming together to really work with young people and to find out what matters to them in the city and what they'd love to see happen in the city as well. So it's really amazing to happen at this point in time. I think the young people, in a way, this period of lockdown, they've been deprived of a lot of things that they normally have, and it's almost a moment where they can kind of really say, well, I really miss that, I really wish we could do this. And when we all get back together and we are able to do that kind of creative work again together, it's going to feel so much more special and kind of like really appreciated. And I think it's just going to be wonderful to speak to young people and hear of what they have to say and what matters to them.
Okay, thank you, Nazneen. Thank you for your time. That's all the questions we have for you today.
No problem. Thanks, Paige.